guys, so today we're going to be going over the main differences between the Jetta and the GLI, and these are kind of like the 5 or 6 reasons why I wanted to upgrade. So first thing is powertrain, suspension, aerodynamics, looks, interior, and potential. So yeah, let's go deeper into it. Alright, yeah, so for the first thing I said, like powertrain, right? So instead of the 1.4 turbo, you're getting a 2-liter turbo. It has a bigger turbo. And then like the main thing for me was the DSG transmission, right? Yeah, the main thing for me was the DSG transmission, right? The old one was just the 8-speed torque converter. It was pretty good, right? Like as you guys heard in my exhaust clips, like it had the upshift pumps and everything. But the way that a DSG feels, like that roughness, like even though it's not so much daily driver friendly, when you're driving it hard, it really delivers, and like you don't have to worry about handling power, right? People put this with like stage 2 tunes and they have no problems on like stock transmission. Alright, so for number 2, the main difference is suspension, right? So on the Mark 7 Jetta, the back end was like pretty bad. Like you can feel it when you're going in corners and stuff. So this one, it has like proper suspension in the back. And the other thing is the DCC, right? The dynamic chassis control. So if you can see here, right, the DCC settings, there's eco, normal, comfort, sport, and custom, right? This is like I've never used a comfort setting in any car. Like now, I don't know if it's just me getting older, but I actually really enjoy using the comfort mode. And then the sport, like it's very stiff. Like it's still daily driver friendly, but like it's the correct stiffness that I want, right? Like when I'm driving hard, like I like having that stiffness. So that definitely makes a huge difference, especially when you're cornering and everything, right? Alright, so for the third thing is the aerodynamics, right? So this is probably like one of the things I was like really underrated, right? Like they don't say this as like a marketing tool, but what I typically like to do to test like aerodynamics is I accelerate to like 120 or whatever, and then I let off the throttle and I let the car come to 100, right? So what I noticed is like in my Jetta, it would come back to 100 really quick. This car, like I find it trouble like before like I get to 100, like I don't have room. Like it actually keeps the space, it keeps this like speed, right? So I think one of the reasons for that is like one is like the lower lip, and then the lower suspension, and then also the larger wheels, right? That definitely plays a huge role, and I think once I put some lowering springs and spacers, like it'll be really nice. So for the next thing is the looks, right? Like although it pretty much is the same thing, like compared to like my old Jetta, like it has the LED lights, the nice bumper, like it's missing the fog lights, but then the wheels and everything, and just with that lower suspension, it looks much nicer. The other big improvement was the interior. So like from my R-Line, like it had like those like pleather vinyl seats. These are like much nicer seats with the heated and ventilated. You know, during my commute, I was starting to get like back pains, so this is like much better. I have like a weird back, so it might not be a problem for all of you. And then the steering wheel, of course, right? Like the GTI steering wheel, like it's very nice with the paddle shifters. And then other parts of the interior, the main difference is the digital cockpit, right? You can have different views. It looks much nicer. But other than that, like pretty much interior is the same. Last thing I would say is potential, right? Not just like for like potential to modify, but just like you bang for buck performance you're getting, right? Like for like somewhere around $30,000, you're getting a car with like a nice engine, a nice transmission, suspension, an LSD, right? Something that you can track, right? I'm for sure gonna be bringing this to the track. Stay tuned for that. But even like modifying, right? Like since it shares so many platforms, like the MQB platform with like GTI A3, S3, parts are like there's so many more options. Like compared to like my 1.4T, it was so hard to get stuff. Like I know for the 1.4T, like it was so hard to even find like a blow-off valve, right? This like everything is shared, so that means like your parts are cheaper, it's easier to install, and you're just gonna like it's gonna be a much more like pleasurable like ownership experience.